Daucus carota, nickname for this plant, is period. This is part 1, and in part 2 I'll be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit the memory, the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant. Be sure to watch all of part 1 so that part 2 is understandable. This is a weedy plant. It grows up to about 3 feet tall. In the first year of growth, it resembles a typical garden carrot. The first year, it develops a rosette. As you see, the leaves are parsley-like. If you are at all familiar with the leaves of a domestic or garden carrot that's usually seen in a grocery store, then you would know what the leaves would appear to be like on a wild carrot. This is another picture of a rosette, again developed in the first year. The roots, for edibility purposes, are best at this stage before the stems develop in the second year. This is a side view of the flower. As you see, the individual flowers radiate from one point. There are approximately 20 to 30 individual flowers that form a flat head cluster. That is a technical characteristic. However, as you will see later in this slideshow presentation, they can also develop rounded clusters. What you see here at the bottom between the stem and the flower are the bracts, B-R-A-C-T-S. We'll see a better picture of that later. The flowers are usually white, but they can be light pink, light purple, or reddish purple, but very rarely are they reddish purple. They don't have any noticeable scent. The flower clusters are 2 to 4 inches across. And as you see, each flower cluster of the carota variation has a red dot in the middle. This is a flower, by the way. Another picture showing you how the individual flowers radiate from a central point, much like an umbrella or the spokes in a bike tire. Notice the bracts again, which develop between the stem and the flower. The individual flowers turn to seed. We'll get a picture of that later. Now, as this flower ages, it will fold up and dry and would bear a remarkable resemblance to a bird's nest. Again, notice the red dot in the middle. This is an example of a very rare reddish purple plant, which again is nicknamed Period. Light purple. The flowers, as you see, have a lacy appearance. Here is a good time for me to point out the bracts again. As you see, they are leaf-like and they are triforked. Have 3 prongs like a fork. Very lace-like appearance. This is what it would look like after it dries and folds. This is late into its 2nd year. The flowers have already turned to seed, resembling a bird's nest. See the seeds inside there. We will have a better picture of that later. In the process of folding and drying up, this picture shows us the different stages of the flowers. First stage, second stage, third stage. This is a leaf. As you see, it resembles, has a parsley-like appearance. Bracts again, leaf-like, triforked. You can, through the bottom, notice again the lacy-like appearance in this picture. And the bracts again, triforked. Close-up of the red dot, which is actually a flower. There is one species of this plant which does not have the red dot in the middle. It would also be used identically as this plant for edible and medicinal purposes. This is a picture of what I was describing earlier as the round-topped flowers. So in botany, this plant will be described as having technically a flat-topped cluster, but as you see here, they can be rounded, so it is not an identifying characteristic which you should completely rely upon. There are so many other distinguishing characteristics that you can choose. This is a diagram of a bipennate leaf. The leaves of period are compound. This is a single leaf, but what makes it compound are its many parts. During my research, I get conflicting information as to the formation of the compound leaves of this plant. Some sources claim that they are bipennate, some claim they are tripennate, and some claim that they are both, that the plant can bear a mixture. With that said, with so many other distinguishing characteristics of the plant, namely the leaves smelling like carrot when they are crushed or rolled in your hand, trying to distinguish the plant by its pennant type will probably cause more confusion than clarity. But for your information, bipennate can be described as the foliage growing along the stream. An easy way to remember this is imagine the main leaf stalk as being the river. Then from the river we have the stream, and the foliage grows off of the stream. 1, 2, river, stream, by, 2. Now this is a tripennate diagram. The main leaf stalk, again, this being a complete leaf. It's a compound leaf because it has many different parts or components. There's the river. We have the stream. And then there's a creek, which is smaller than a river or a stream. And as you see in this diagram, the foliage grows on the side or along the creek. Tripennate. 1, 2 being the stream, and 3 being the creek. Tri. This is a period leaf. It is bipennate. Parsley-like. The leaf stalks and the main stem, as you can see in this picture, all bear whitish hairs, which is important to remember because its poisonous look-alike, the poison hemlock, are smooth. The stems, that is. Remember also to crush the leaf, roll them between your fingers, and they will smell like carrot if you do have the period plant. This is a picture of the root. It is small, thick, whitish, shaped somewhat like a spindle. It's very hard, and it also smells like carrot. The 2 carrots to the right are the domestic carrots, and the 2 carrots on the left are the wild carrots. This is a close-up of the seeds. They're small. They become very dry. They are ribbed. They have grooves, that is. And bristly hairs are in rows down the side. As you see, they are ribbed. The bristly hairs down the side. Formerly, they were the flowers, individual flowers, which developed into seed. Another picture which shows the scattered white hairs along the stem. The stem is also lightly ribbed or grooved longitudinally. You can see some of the grooves or ribs there. Now this is a picture of a stem of the poison hemlock. Notice it is smooth. It is also ribbed as the period plant is. But as you've seen earlier, the period plant has scattered white hairs and lacks the purple blotches that the poison hemlock has. So avoid this plant. As you can see in this picture, the leaves look somewhat similar, but the leaves of this plant, if they are crushed or are rolled between your fingers, they will smell very nasty, not like carrot at all. The edible parts of this plant are the flowers, the leaves, the young roots, and the seeds. The roots are most edible during its first year. As the stems and flowers develop, the roots become more tough and woody. To learn how to prepare these parts for edibility purposes, visit survivalplantsmemorycourse.com and click on this plant, Daucus carota, through the Index of Plants link, and you will find a section called Methods of Preparation there. Thank you for watching part 1, and in part 2 I will be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant.